Let's go live to Caracas, Venezuela, where the President Nicolás Maduro is offering statements. Let's listen.
The extreme right, those are hatred, the violence, the revenge, trying to support the intervention from abroad and the war. I've been telling you that. I asked the people, do you want them to go back the criminal guarimbas? You said no. And I said those that are supporting that, they want that. And luckily, as our Lord Jesus Christ said to Thomas, he said, blessed be the ones who believe without seeing. Blessed be the most of this country, because we won these elections thanks to the majority, the ones who believed in the path of peace and tranquility, because we are the only warranty of this country for peace. Those are the hatred, the division, the fascism, the revenge, the intolerance. Or do you need more proofs to know that they represent that? The one with the last name, the far right, that regroups around a world plan of the extreme right of international levels. Blessed be the ones who believed, because of the experience. But sadly, there's a part of the society that needed to see to believe. The ones who saw the criminal attack, the higher groups oriented and paid to attack hospitals, to attack bus stations, to attack schools, universities, to attack humble people from the people and burn their cars, to threaten popular leaders in their homes. They hired groups of new generations from criminals, and they paid them and prepared them an 80% of the almost 2,000 captured. Those were an 80% of them were trained in Texas, Peru, and Chile. They put it in a plan in the last 11 months, and an 80% of them, of the captured ones, they didn't vote. They were prepared to be launched in a plan, in an ambush. They pretend to take the light out from Venezuela last Sunday to launch these groups, already trained and prepared to attack, and presented to the world as the people of Venezuela, to intimidate to the peaceful majority, to intimidate the patriotic majority. We stop it this midday. We stop it in the night because they wanted to leave the country without power supply. I denounced that already, and then we started to receive a cyber attack. You know what is a cyber attack? Hold your hands up. What if you don't know what is a cyber attack? A cyber attack is through the internet that goes into the country, into the web pages of all public organisms of the country. And the cyber attack, the most brutal one, was received to the transmission of the National Electoral Council system to provoke a shortcut in the electoral system, but they couldn't make it. But the faces far right, with the support of Elon Musk, the Goliath put the face on. They attacked the system so to provoke a blackdown in the electoral system, and to stop the transmission of the data the first time that that happens. And without the data transmission, so in the Monday morning, as they attempted very early, they were planning to start the attacks of the criminal small groups, more than 1,000 to attack objectives in the entire country. Luckily, the technicians, the professionals, engineers from Venezuela managed to transmit the 80% of the data as it was certified by the witness of the political parties in the National Electoral Council. And at 12 a.m., 12:15, the National Electoral Council gave the first report that make the country tranquilize and shut down the face of the electoral blackdown. The Monday they launched the ambush. Why that ambush? With more than 1,000 criminal groups in the country, they prepare for 11 months. The ambush has only main objective to send a message to the world of an popular insurrection in Venezuela, and the second, to threaten you, my comrades, to the humble people, to stop them to go out of the street as they did in April 13, as today, to defend the homeland, to defend the democracy, to defend the right to peace. That's the truth. If they're not participating in the elections, they are calling to sabotage them and conspire. And when the far right takes control over the opposition or a part of it and participate, is to use the elections to accumulate forces and to fill the society with hatred and strike again with against the institutions and against the law. Hard times were lived in several communities, and I can say, having the direction of the guarimbas of 2014 that we won in 60 days in 2014, the guarimbas of 2016, do you remember that one? As they kidnapped people, as they were taking polls and taking fees around the streets, as criminal gangs hired by the opposition burned more than 600 bus stations. The guarimbas of 2017 lasted 120 days until I summoned the Constitutive Assembly, and one day after that, the Constitutive Assembly bring the peace to these days. From that July 30 of 2017. Always the Constitution in our hands, because the Constitution has the legal strength, moral strength, and spiritual strength. The Constitution, beautiful, perfect, where are all the mechanisms to regulate the conflicts, to solve the conflicts, to have a rule of law and justice, as we're trying to build in the long term in Venezuela. They thought that they were going to sustain their criminal attack, their ambush, again, once again, 60 days, 120 days, that was their math. But in 48 hours, with the capability of response, of reaction of the civil and military and police forces union, we solve it with the Constitution and peace. The faces outbreak, we have 2,000 prisoners captured, and they're going to the maximum penalties. Justice. This time it won't be forgiveness upon them. This time forgiveness is not available. This time they're going to be in the criminal facility, because it's very grave what they've done. Very grave. Everything under this sky has its time. The time of God is perfect. This is going to... There was an attack to the national electoral system that was never seen before. They burned electoral centers. They burned households from the CN in several municipalities. They strike against the machinery. They burn infrastructure. They left their fingerprints with the videos. I will say that the 80% of the properties burned in the regional ways. They're already in jail, imprisoned. Every single one of them are confessed because there have been a strict legal process directed by the general prosecutor with full warranty, and all of them are imprisoned and confessed. All of them that were involved have confessed the way of work, how much they got paid, who they paid from, what was the order. One, they have orders of the attack leaders. Other of them, they have orders to take down statues from Chavez, from Bolivar, from Jose Gregorio Hernandez, from the great chief Coromoto, who was the Indian chief that received the version in Guanare. What justifies an attack to a work of art from the people of Portuguesa to the big chief, Indian chief Coromoto? What justifies trying to get down a statue from Jose Gregorio Hernandez? Why do you attack and put down the statues of Chavez? I know why, because Chavez said and leave a print forever. Avila, eagle doesn't hunt for flies, and eagle won't seek for flies. That's what they told you, that's what you left. That's the revenge against the image, the internal image of the best president that Venezuela had in 150 years, Hugo Chavez Frias. Long live to the commander Hugo Chavez. Chavez lives. All of them, all the criminals that put down the statues from the Chavez commander, from Bolivar, from Jose Gregorio, from the Indian Coromoto, all of them are identified. All of them are captured. All of them are under trial, and all of them are confessed how much they got paid and why they did what they do. A little coffee at this time suits well, right? To get strength. This is very good coffee from Bogono. The one from Biscucuy also is very good. From what it is, Galipán? Our brothers and sisters from the indigenous people, an applause for them. Those are the manifestation, the mass manifestation. I have reports from the Caracas metro station that were only mobilizing the metro to get into different points. More than 2,000 people by their own means, because the people in Caracas and Venezuela wants peace, work, and they want justice. They attack hospitals. The people of Coche, my neighbors from Coche, they saved the hospital of Coche because they wanted to burn it. They are in jail and they're captured already. The people from the streets of Antimano saved the school. Eligio Mendes, a first-class level school. Go visit. Just recovered by the Bricomiles. They burn medical institutions. They burn more than 2,050 police stations. Why they burn the police stations that are inside of the areas of peace? They wanted to impose that state of terror. And I can say that today Venezuela united, further than political differences, all Venezuelans reject and we condemn and repeat violence of these groups, criminal groups. And the United States government pretends to say that the Pacific manifestants need to be respected. And they have to say, tell me where they are. Today they summoned to apparently peaceful manifestations, and were given very good. If it's peaceful, always is going to be welcome. When it's insurrectional one, all of us need to be aware and alert, and the Constitution guarantee the peace. Today, they summon everywhere. For real, the group must be from these comanditos, making a balance of why the people that voted for them weren't in the streets and all over the country. And they need to keep a record what we summon in more than 100 places of the country, and thousands of women and men came out of the streets with only one flag, the peace. In Maracaibo, in Barquisimeto, in Apure, in Barcelona, in Margarita, in Cumaná. From one point to another, from south to north to east to west, the people in the streets, and when the Chavismo and the patriots come out of the streets in Venezuela, there is peace. In the streets of peace and security. Never us. We are not a threat. We are joy, hope, security, warranties. And if we can say that group from the oligarchy, from the last names, are the incarnation of the unmeasured ambitions, from ego, from hatred, from violence, from the despise to the people and the revenge. We have to say that the majority of these people, we are the love, the hope, the peace, the homeland that goes green again. On Tuesday, I summoned to the Security Council of the Nation. You saw that. There observed a lot of initiatives, and it serves one main one. Facing this conspiration and this coup d'etat that is on March, that takes as a story the electoral process. And we have to act, summon with the Constitution, the mechanism that we already have in hand. And that's why on Wednesday I make a surprise in the noon. I went out with my tie and my outfit, Silita over there, and we get there and surprise. Maduro was in the TCJ. I plead an appeal into the maximum electoral infrastructure, the electoral hall of the court of elections, to be the electoral court to check everything as the Constitution said. Before everything, in face of a coup d'etat, Constitution. In face of conspiration, the Constitution. It has to prevail the law, the truth, the justice, the democracy, the institutionality, and the respect of all Venezuelans to the laws and institutions. It's a very good because the electoral hall on Thursday emitted a sentence, the first one. I accept, and it was accepted the contentious appeal before the Supreme Electoral Council. Those are legal concepts. You can put and check the Constitution on the 197 article to see the role that the Electoral Court has to play. 297 that established the electoral hall to divide every contentious appeal. Translated to the regular English, to solve any arguments or issues from the election of a mayor, from a deputy, from a governor, or even the Republic presidency, in whichever level it is. Venezuela has laws, Venezuela has institutions, and Venezuela has to be from a sovereign way, without the intervention of any country in the world, the one that solved this matter and this striker plan and prevail the law, prevail the peace, prevail the right. Or are we a colony? The Venezuela wants to be a colony from the gringos? Or do you want the sovereignty prevail? So, the electoral court summoned the 10 candidates as a mandatory. And if you have a conflict, you have a business in a market from both of you, and you have a 51%, and your partner here has a 49%. So one day he appears with the files and he says, I have the 60% of the actions, and I say, that's illegal. What do you have to do? Put a knife up to burn the house to your partner, threaten the wife, the daughter, the son. No, you have to go to a courtroom and file a contentious appeal before, and the judge will summon you to the demandant and to the both parts, and then the other part says, well, I cannot go. Why? Because I don't want to. You're not going because you don't want to? What the judge had to do if the other person says that? What? Everyone knows this about law. This is a cold, educated people. It turns out that the Mexican Supreme Court of Venezuela, constitutional, summoned the 10 candidates 2 p.m. yesterday. We were on time. That in Psuv again. And I was before the justice. One chair was empty. The secretary from the courtroom arrived and she asked to stand up, and we are in front of a courtroom, and I'm not a president there, I'm a citizen. All of the 9 candidates that were there, we were as candidates, but under the law and the justice. And the president came from the Supreme Court of Law, Dr. Beatriz Rodriguez, alongside with 2 other magistrates, and they said, please sit again. And we were read the legal rules, and they said, you're summoned here to be informed that this Supreme Court of Justice from the Republic has opened a contentious administrative recourse, and all of you are submitted to investigation. And all of you, when you're asked, you have to prove and to put all the documents and the tally sheets of your political parties. Justice. And as what we do, we sign there. I asked for a copy and I have it there. I haven't read it yet, but the words of the president of the courtroom were very clear, and we are submitted to the justice, and that's the path to solve constitutionally and in peace this conflict that is created by the criminal actions and blackmailing action, violent phases of that far right. The path is the constitution, the laws, the Supreme Court of Justice, of a sovereign way without intervention. That same courtroom was pulled down a resolution, a decision yesterday afternoon, after summoned us and summoned for the next 72 hours, to the direction of the National Electoral Council to file all the documents, all the sheets from the electoral process of July 28th, and they're fulfilling their responsibilities. The National Electoral Council has the word now. Who decides the result of the elections in Venezuela? The government of the United States or the Venezuelan institutions? Who decides the result of the elections in Venezuela? The campaign command of the commentators from the fascism, or the CNA, or the electoral courtroom? One candidate was missing, Mr. Gonzalez Urrutia. He didn't went until 10 a.m. was calling that to be wait, and he was trying to get there. Can I have some coffee, please?
las 12 del mediodía,
12 noon,
un abogado,
a lawyer called.
no voy a decir su nombre,
I won't say the name of it.
conserve su tranquilidad
To
estomacal,
preserve their tranquility,
e informó oficialmente a la
and
Presidencia del
officially
Tribunal Supremo
informed
de
to the
Justicia
presidential
que
of the Supreme Court of Justice that the Mr. Gonzalez Urrutia wouldn't be able to assist. Why? Because the political parties that are
estaban divididos en la opinión.
voting for them, they were divided in the opinion. One of them were saying that they needed to go, and one don't. So at that time, the lawyer received the call
Doña fascista criminal,
from the lady,
la doña Machado,
fascist and
y la
criminal
doña dijo, no va.
Mrs. Machado, and she said he's not going, and that was an order.
Cuadra perfectamente del
It matches perfectly in the concept of puppet.
¿Quién decide? El señor
Who
González
decides,
Urrutia
Mr. Gonzalez Urrutia
o la doña.
or Lady Mistress?
Pero además hay un asunto
But on the top of that, there is a legal matter. When you're summoned by a courtroom, the lawyer says
una situación
that that's a situation
así que se dice
in person.
intuito persona es la cosa. Es la citación a usted.
There's a summon to you, not to your partners or your friends or your political party.
Justificarme, yo diría,
It's like if I would say to make a justification, well, the PSUV and the Great Patriotic Poll didn't tell me to go, but no, I was summoned. Nicolás Maduro, I have to go to the courtroom if I'm summoned.
voy a buscar excusas.
I'm going to seek for excuses and justifications. Mr. Gonzalez Urrutia then after went out by the effects of sedatives, 11:30 p.m., who was taking some meds under the effects of two diazepams. They went out 11:30 p.m. and this day was 2 p.m. 9, 10, 11, 9 hours and a half after, and he posted a video on Twitter to say that he wouldn't assist because some reason. Everything that you said, Mr. Gonzalez Urrutia, they're going to be on file, and at the moment of the decision, you will have legal consequences to uncontain to the Constitution, to the courtrooms, and to the laws. All that you said can and will be used against you. How do you know that much? You're watching the movies. Those are the movies. You have a right to a phone call, you have a right to a lawyer, and everything that you say can be used against you in a court of law. But I went and I say to the Dr. Beatriz Rodriguez and to the two magistrates, I said, every time that I'm summoned here, I will be here. And the day that you require the 100% of the tally sheet of our witness in the electoral tables, we are ready, the Great Patriotic Poll and the PSUV, to consign the 100% of the legal tally sheets that we got from our witness in every table of the country. Today has been a peace day, and that's how it must be. We are in the second semester, and in the second semester is a key to all of the business and economical activities. Already yesterday, Friday, was reactivated almost 95% of the commerce. I had a meeting with the small business owners on Wednesday, and we guarantee the plan for 100% to the country, all the months that are to come. Luckily, we are strong today because we produce everything in Venezuela. They tried to attack the trucks going to the cities for the food, and we made special plans with the armed forces, and all the distribution trucks are taken care in every single highways by our armed forces, taking care from the facings and from the criminals. We have to guarantee to get along with the economic agenda, social, from productivity, to make solid the land that we already have achieved. Venezuela has to defend the right to peace. You know why? We won the peace so quick in only 48 hours. Because this people was mobilized in early hours. Only on Tuesday, and I was surprised, the neighbors of Katia, 23 Enero, Petare, when they got by thousand here to the people's balcony. The criminal guarimbas were already activated in some places. And it's fundamental that the people is empowered, that the people is mobilized. And it's fundamental the union from the people, from the military, from the police. They want to impose, and I already say that. I said everything. If I went to 300 cities, luckily, I toured from the Amazonas to Amazon to Barlovento, from Mameras to Camanacoa, from Cumanacoa to San Fernando de Pure, from Barinas to Maturín, from one point to another of the country, more than 300 cities. as a
Y lo
pilgrim,
dije,
and I said,
ellos no están buscando
they're
elecciones,
not
están
seeking
buscando
elections,
guarimbas.
they are seeking guarimbas.
Ellos son el odio, la
Those
venganza.
are the hatred, the
Su
revenge.
plan
Their
es
plan
martirizar
is to
Venezuela. Es que lo dije.
upsurge Venezuela, and I say that.
Y la mayoría
And the most of it
creyó
believed
sin ver.
without seeing.
Bienaventurado, dice nuestro Señor
Blessed be our Lord,
Jesús de
says.
Nazaret. Pero yo con Jesús de
But
Nazaret también digo,
me, myself, with
bienaventurados
Jesus Christ, I said, blessed be the ones who saw and believed. And we have to be united. The ones who believe without seeing, and the ones who see from believe from seeing. And we know that the path of truth and production.
que cerrarle las puertas
That we
al
need to
fascismo,
close doors from the fascism.
que esos sectores extremistas
The extremist sectors in the country won't come back, not for the good side, not for the bad. They will never be back.
ahora
Now
estamos,
we are.
película ya la hemos
This
visto.
movie, we already watched this movie.
Sabemos el final de la película.
We know the end of the movie.
Ganan los buenos.
The good guys win.
Sabemos, pero esta película la
We
vamos a
know
ganar
that, but this movie we're going to
y más
win it
rápido.
better and faster and with a big strength. This is the third Netflix
De la
season
película
of the
extrema
movie
derecha
from the
guarimbera.
far right of the Guarimbas.
Así se
This has
llama
been
la
defeated.
primera
That's
serie,
the name of the first
la
series.
serie en general.
The general
Esta
series.
película ya hemos visto.
This movie we already
Ahora sale ayer
watched
el
it.
gobierno de Estados Unidos
And yesterday, the government of the United States come out and say that according to the intelligence that they managed,
ganó la extrema
the
derecha.
far right won.
Es el gobierno de
That's the government of the United States, but that's our electoral authority in Venezuela.
Somos colonia,
We are a colony from the gringos.
un país soberano.
We are
Dar una
a sovereign country, and that could be accepted by a sovereign country.
Quieren imponer
They want to impose,
otra vez
once again,
la triste historia
the sad story
de Guaidó.
of Guaidó.
Guaidó 2.0.
Guaidó 2.0.
Guaidó parte 2.
Guaidó Part 2.
Hoy tuvo miedo de autojuramentarse.
Today was afraid of be
El
self-proclaimed.
Señor tuvo miedo hoy de le iban a
The
poner la
sir
vara
was afraid today.
y se iba a
They're going to
autojuramentar.
be self-proclaimed,
Tuvo miedo.
but he was in fear.
Te chorreaste. González
He backed down, Gonzalez Urrutia.
te sale segureza. Ya ni a Paturuco llega.
It's not even a chicken now.
¿Ustedes quieren un nuevo Guaidó?
Do you want a new Guaidó?
¿Ustedes quieren que vuelva a imponerse
Do you want to be imposed again, the far right,
con un falso
with a
presidente?
false president?
¿O ustedes quieren
Or
paz
do you
y
want
tranquilidad?
peace and tranquility?
Es lo que yo le digo a todos los
That's
venezolanos.
why I say to every Venezuelan,
Yo le digo
I say
a aquellos que no me quieren,
to the ones that don't love me and don't love us,
si no nos quieren,
if you don't want
no nos
us,
odien,
don't hate us,
no nos ataquen,
don't attack us,
no caigan en la violencia,
don't fall into
no se
violence,
dejen arrastrar al
don't
golpismo otra
let
vez,
be
como en
led
abril
by the
2002,
golpist again
tantas
as
veces
in
nos
April
llevaron al
2002
golpismo.
and as many other
no nos quieren,
occasions. If you don't want us,
Respeten las reglas de
respect
juego.
the rules of the game.
Si no nos quieren,
If you don't want us,
está bien,
it's okay.
pero quieran a
But
Venezuela,
love Venezuela
quieran a
first.
su familia, quieran
Love
su
to your
comunidad,
families, your
quieran a sus
comfort
vecinos,
zone,
sus
your
vecinas.
neighbors.
No se dejen llevar
Don't let to be
por el
gotten
fascismo
by
que
the
le dice,
fascism that is
"Están
saying.
varios detenidos,
And there are
por la
several
ley de odio".
detainees by the hatred
Me
law.
cansaría yo aquí
And I will
de
be
ponerles
tired
el video
here to put hundreds of videos. We captured today 30. Yesterday they were saying, Friday, they were saying, tomorrow is a big march. Be prepared, you have a neighbor from the Chavismo, and go get it, because tomorrow we will win. Burn the house, kill the Chavismo. And that was reproduced by TikTok. And I asked TikTok if you will allow it in United States and Europe to reproduce this kind of videos, fascism, hatred. Because they want to infect Venezuela from hatred and division. And TikTok is responsible legally for what is going against Venezuela, and also Instagram. And yes, they saying that get your Chavista neighbor and kill it, burn the house down. God save us and God protect us, and we're in victory, and we're going to continue in victory through the path of love and national union and the respect of the Constitution. We are love warriors, peace warriors, but warriors at the end of the day. Oh, but I can show you. Diosdado is saying that today at 8 p.m. has a special program. He has too much material. Too much. It was a thesis in Valencia, Huacara, in Carabobo. Tomorrow I'm going out to kill Chavista. We have Molotov cocktails and we're going to put it in the house of people. We're going to burn everything down. We're going to the street because our boss Maria Corina is calling us, and we're going to the streets. Knock knock. The law is here. Knock knock. 3 Doritos after. I'm regretting. I apologize, and I was paid this much and I didn't want to do it, but you did it. And if you're whining, there's a lot of cases like that. Don't believe poor things. They were deceived. No one will trick anyone. There's laws and need to be respected. There's a society that wants to live freely and in peace, and it has to be respected. There's citizen rights and human rights here, and you need to be respected. Dad, don't tell me stories. What would happen? I'm going to launch on a hypothesis: denied, transmuted, rejected, impossible to happen ever, but an hypothesis. There is Fernando Carrillo, an artist. No, man, don't put a notice on that. Be happy and make other happy as well. Be happy and make other happy as well. Life is very short, and we need to love. The only way to be happy is with love. Do you think that the people that hate is happy? Those are very bitter. They have big open eyes like this. Those are very ugly people, as Milei. Very ugly man, Milei, with a stupid face. It's a shame to have a president in South America like that. The face is a sign, is a criminal. An hypothesis, and I will clear this. It's a rejected hypothesis, impossible one to happen, because we are a humanist and Christian people. What would happen in the international communication media? What would happen in the social network of the West if the Chavismo went out to mark the house of the anti-Chavism? If the Chavismo went out to threaten the people for their ideology, we're thousands. We have won 29 elections out of 31. And the ones to come in the next years, from the mayors, from the national assemblies. We are a reality. We are a popular power. What would say them if it was backwards? Would they remain in silence, as the CNN is making silent, as the news agencies are silent in front of this? They will keep silence and look other way. They will denounce it, because it would be a crime. As Campos Suarez will say, it's a crime, and the crime doesn't pay, ever, never. Because the Chavismo, it is the greatest warranty of national peace and democracy and tranquility that has Venezuela. We are the warranty of this peace, of the institutionality of the national union. If the fascism managed to assault the power, they will come to kill thousands, millions. As the case of Indonesia, you have to see what happened in Indonesia in the 60s. That will never happen. Now they want to impose the second part of Guaido. There was a conflict, I was told yesterday, because Guaido isn't mentioned in Miami as the presidential ban, and he wasn't willing to pass the ban, the presidential ban, to the old man, to the new president. The president of all of us is being called now. Guaido, second part, but it's not going. Today we are stronger, we have more experience, we are better prepared, and Venezuela has institutionality of justice which is solid and will not take with the national laws that pretend to usurp once again the President of the Republic. Guaido part 2, Gonzalez Urrutia, is not going. Wish that the family of this man that it was inside of a closet, but it comes from a dark past of the assassins of the Salvador. You can investigate that. He was the brain, the operator brain, as a Venezuelan diplomatic in the embassy of El Salvador, of the murder of the Jesuit priest, from the assassination of the nuns from El Salvador, the saint of the poor of Latin America and the Caribbean, the big Monsignor Arnulfo Romero, closest friend of the priest, Father Juan Vives Urria from Venezuela. Today, Saturday, I think that it was a proof for the country and for the entire world of where it lays the reason, where is the truth laid, where is the strength and where is the power. And the strength and the power of peace is inside of this beautiful people that is being mobilized by millions in Maracaibo, Maracay, Valencia, Barquisimeto, San Fernando, Maturín, Cumaná, Barcelona, Caracas. Today has triumphed the peace. And the days to come, we will maintain and I'm saying to the people always, we are winning, but always you have to be ready, because in the front we have demons. And you can see what happened in the Exorcist movie. Have you seen that? I only saw it once, and I remained 8 days in fear. I was like 30, 20 years, and once we saw it with Celia and the kids, and I went up. They were little, the kids, and they lasted a week hearing stuff. That movie is fire. Have you seen The Exorcist? You saw it 3 times. You like terror? I don't like it. I like comedy or love stories or history, but I don't like terror or horror. Who likes horror movies? We're a lot of people. Well, action, of course. Agent 007, Mission Impossible Mission. But in the Exorcist movie, at the end of the movie, the priest comes, and I don't remember his name. Do you remember the name? The priest was a very good person, and he was the one who detected that she had the demon inside. Let me tell you, that happens. I know Catholic priests that are authorized by the Catholic to do exorcisms, and I know one of them were saying, how is it? And I say, don't tell me anymore, because we have a lot of issues to find out those things. And sometimes bad things are glued to you, and I always commend to the Holy Trinity and the holy power of God, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, always with us, always. From when I woke up to I get to back to go to street, Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in front of us, on the top of us, take care of me and take care of these people. Among other mantras that I have my secrets, as everything else. The secret of prayer. If I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't be standing here. If you're messing with us, and the one who's messing with Maduro will wither. It's an incredible thing. But see, at the end of the movie, the priest finds out about all the plan and prepares one from himself, and goes to the room of Linda Blair and opens the door, and Linda Blair turns his head. And do you remember? And he said, I have the cross of Christ, and put holy water, and it smokes. Surrendered. And Linda Blair, so as far as I remember, says, I want to dialogue with you. Let's make a political dialogue, Maduro. Let's organize the transition, Maduro. No, she didn't say that. But the priest trusted. And he trusts the priest in the demon, and he started praying. And he made the conjuring, but he did it good. He put the holy water on it. And what was the last thing that the devil did? He launched it through the window and killed him. And then was defeated the demon. That's why I say we are winning with a cross of wood, and no one can put the guard down. Still nerves, calm, and maximum union and popular mobilization, and from the military and the police. The police patrols, from the military, from the police also, it has to be maintained in every city and in every town to protect the people. To protect economical activity. and to continue the economical activity, the social activity, cultural. I'm going to activate very soon the decree that I signed for the 5 dialogues. I do believe in dialogue, but with the cross of wood, the wood cross and the holy water, that with a sprinkle. 5 dialects. Venezuela needs to move forward to new consensus in peace, to listen to all opinions, to listen to even the hardest criticism from the people, for us to relearn, to reformulate the plan and move forward with a perfected plan with the people's opinion. The first economic dialogue, because the economy has to move forward and go strong, because it cannot be turned again, the economy in a battlefield, a fatal battlefield. No, the economy needs to be growing still, to improve, to produce, to generate richness. And the second place, the social dialogue, because I want to carry out very soon into the National Assembly the anti-blockade law to improve substantially the income of the country. The dialogue of culture with all the sectors of music, the theater. Have you seen the persecution of faces against the artists of the country? They're persecuting them, the influencer. If an artist or a musician or actor is not pronouncing himself or herself, then it's called, if you're not speaking against Maduro, you're our enemy, or we're going after you. How's that called? Fascism. That was what Hitler was doing, Mussolini, Franco. You want fascism for Venezuela? Hatred, intolerance for Venezuela? To face and division and revenge among Venezuelans? No, of course not. We want harmony, understanding, dialogue, to wash ourselves with love face to face, even with our differences. We have to learn to have differences and to love each other, one to another, as the Bible says. Love to each other. Cultural dialogue with all of us. In the 4th place, religious dialogue, moral with all the religions and the religious and spiritual practices of the country. It's a vital dialogue to find ourselves in God. You know that I'm a very religious man. And as our Lord Jesus Christ says, my comrade saying here, Jesus of Nazareth said, I am the path, the truth, and the life. And us, the Venezuelans, in union, we will say we are the path of peace. We are the truth, the deeper truth of the Venezuelan history. And we are the victory of life from the truth, peace. We are the path, the truth, and the life of the 21st century of Venezuela. In the name of God, I'm saying this. That's our way, that's our truth. The life and the peace is our north, our inspiration, our strength. 4th dialogue, the religious one. I'm going to be there. Christians, my brothers and sisters from Christianity, thanks for all they did in the country for this triumph. Thank you. My brothers from the Catholic religion, thank you to all the priests from the neighborhoods. They are summoned to this dialogue already from every religion. My brothers and sisters, Muslims, assalamu alaikum to the all Muslim people, my Jews brothers, and all the ancestral religious practice of our America, and further than that, welcome. God is only one for all, and their strength is a multi-dimension and different faces, mysterious, omnipresent. That's the God's strength. And the 5th dialogue, the political dialogue.
El diálogo político
The political dialogue
con una sola
with
condición.
only one condition.
Diálogo político con
The
todos
political
los
dialogue with all the
que
sectors
respeten,
that respect
reconozcan
and recognize
esta constitución
this constitution and to all the 5 powers and all the institutions.
diálogo con
A dialogue with all the ones that respect the constitution.
diálogo
A
político
political dialogue
para pensar el futuro,
to think about the future,
para abrir las
to
compuertas
open the
de
doors
la Venezuela de los
of
próximos
the
años.
next year's Venezuela, from the next decades Venezuela. Venezuela doesn't belong to anyone.
Y a su vez puedo
And at the
decir
same time, I can say,
en particular,
in particular, Venezuela
no nos pertenece
doesn't
a
belong
una tolda
to
política.
a part of the
Venezuela
political
pertenece
life. It belongs to all the men and women
Que nacimos y
that were
vivimos
born
bajo este
and
cielo
will live under this
hermoso.
piece of sky, beautiful and blessed.
En Venezuela cabemos todos.
In Venezuela, we can be all of us.
La gran misión vuelta a la patria.
The big mission, go back to the homeland, is a stand-in.
Las sanciones que
The
ellos
sanctions that they are asking,
originaron con un grupo
they
importante
urgent that an important group of the families
buscar un mejor destino.
were out to seek for a better future.
Muchos de ellos la
A lot of
envidian
them,
al capitalismo
they're
salvaje.
seeing the brutal face of the capitalism, and not even with 3 jobs they can stand there.
Son bienvenidos en su
But
patria,
they're
en su
welcome
tierra.
in their homeland and their country.
¿Quién los iba a traer?
But who were trying to keep it here? The last time that they were asking the sanctions? No, I'm saying to those migrants, you may come back in peace to a Venezuela
Tomando el camino
that is going to the prosperity path, and Venezuela is the blessed land of the opportunities. Only in Venezuela there is harmony, love, solidarity, not persecution. Venezuela is a receptor country for migrants, and we will never be persecuted. Ecuadorians, Chileans,
ni a nadie.
Peruvians, not anyone as us are
¿Quién fue que dijo
in the exterior who say that the migrants of Venezuela were a peace. Julio Borges?
Ah, pero hay gente que se dejó engañar y
But
votó por ella.
there are people that let themselves deceive and voted for
Si
them
ganaba la ultraderecha,
because they believe that if the far right won, their family will be back.
fue el mismo engaño de la
It was the
manito,
same
de la
deceive
última
of the
forma,
hand of the last.
con la diferencia que esta vez ganamos nosotros.
With the difference that we won this time because the majority
La
won't be
mayoría
fooled.
creyó,
The majority believed
amó
and
y
loved
venció.
and conquered.
La mayoría.
The majority,
Pero aquellos que se dejaron llevar
but the ones who let it carried away by siren chants,
por falsas promesas
by
les
false
decimos,
promises, we said,
aquí está nuestra mano.
there is our hand.
Aquellos que no nos quieren,
The ones that they don't love us,
quieren el país.
they want the
Unámonos
country.
para querer el país.
Less united to love our country. Less united in a point to love for Venezuela, to work for Venezuela, to be prospered together, to defend the peace and the constitution.
Este asunto
This matter
que ustedes han creado
that you
para
have
ustedes
created with this attempted coup,
saben,
you know that you're defeated.
tratan de tirar una
You
última
try to
pancada
pull
de lado,
the last hand from the drowning men,
pero ellos saben
but you know
que el destino de Venezuela
that
está
the
marcado.
destiny of Venezuela is
Han
marked
llegado
already.
tiempos bendecidos y
Blessed
milagrosos para
times
nuestra patria.
are here for our homeland.
Desde el norte
From the north,
vociferan
they're shouting
los Goliat.
the Goliath.
Yo cuando hablaba de Goliat,
When I was
muchas
speaking
veces
about
me
Goliath, a
decían,
lot of people were
¿Qué habla
staring
Maduro,
at
chico?
me like,
¿Qué es
what is
esto?
Maduro talking?
yo sé
What's
leer
that?
los ojos de ustedes.
I know how to
Ustedes
read
soy
your
ustedes.
eyes because I'm your
Ustedes están ahí,
own.
yo estoy aquí,
You're
pero
there and
yo
I'm
estoy aquí,
here,
estoy
but
ahí
while I'm
contigo.
here,
Porque toda
I'm
mi
with
vida
you
estuve ahí,
because my
entre
whole
las
life I
calles,
was
entre el
there
pueblo.
among the street,
Yo
among
sé
the
leer
people.
las
I know
caras,
how to read the
el
looks,
rostro, la sonrisa,
the faces, the
el
smiles,
ceño fruncido,
the
la
frown,
lágrima, el
the
dolor,
tears, the
la
pain,
esperanza
the
del pueblo.
hope in the people.
Porque soy
Because
presidente
I
pueblo.
am a
Yo no
people
soy de sangre azul,
president.
ni de
I'm not
apellido.
from a blue blood of the last name, and I don't want to. I'm not a puppet from anyone, and I will never be. I am a president, I'm independent president, democratic, from the legal basis and from the constitution, institutionalized, popular and revolutionary, socialist, and more than ever deeply Chavista, Bolivarian, from the left wing, humanist. That's what I'm saying. I know how to read the looks in the people. And I know when I was saying that, a lot of people were saying, well, Maduro was talking about. And I was talking about a thing that I already knew. And with my intuition, I was seeing through that. I have a lot of information. Yesterday I had to launch an information, and I do believe that it got to safe harbor. For today they were preparing attack with a grenade to some opposition manifestations. To blame who? Who was going to be shouting the first scream in the world? The gringos. They were going out and to say, blame Maduro, Maduro did it. And you know why? Because of the last name, the oligarchy knows that these people is not going to believe in that. Because the people was already on the street, and these people had the experience and the value and the courage to make the laws respected and to respect the result of the July 28th, to defend the right to peace. They know that these people have the courage and nothing will threaten them and no one will stop it. Today was proved with this people river in the streets. I launched the alert, and we need to be aware of this. Don't trust the demon. Don't put the wood cross down. Won't put lost the vision of the objective. The objective is the peace, the work, the economic prosperity. In July, we had again a good month, and I can say already as a trailer that July had the lowest inflation level since 1985, and we move forward to conquer the inflation and to have a level of inflation, a lower one, that we're going to achieve in the next month to come. The economic growth is maintained in the 8%, and this second semester is going to be superior. So we're going to strike, lastly, a year with work, growth, production, improving, because what we want, all of us, to go back to the violence, dark past. We want to go back to the hyperinflation moment. This July, I'm going to stop because I make a compromise with you. Also, when I was around, I was saying, I'm not coming to make any promises. And some of you were making weird faces. A candidate that is not making promises, this is very weird. Because always the people wants that a candidate comes and make some promises. I promise that I'm going to make a lot of things, and that the other day you will have. That's what the Burgess politics was. Promises, promises, and lies. And the people. There was a song of Rubén Blades that said,
¿cómo es que llama? Pablo Pueblo, Mimú, está Mimú Vargas, el Movimiento por la Paz y la Vida. Pablo Pueblo, Pablo hermano, hijo del niño en la calle, se me olvidó, vale.
I forget the song.
Pablo Pueblo.
Pablo, people. Voting in the elections to eat toenails after. Rubén Blades was described in the 70s. The politickery
Entonces yo le decía al pueblo eso,
The
y que
book
así
is-
sentía la mitad de la gente como, bueno, y este tipo viene y no nos va a prometer nada. Y yo
And
decía, yo vengo a-
the people were saying, he's not making any promises. No, I said, I'm making compromises. And I did.
de agosto
From August
de este año
of this year, this current year,
2025,
to August 2025, I have the money. I am compromised to give at least 1 million to fundings to 1 million new business of the country. And I'm going to start the next week with the first 100,000 entrepreneurships
con Credit Joven,
with Credit Joven, Credit Mujer,
Vida,
Credit Vida
Credit Emprendedor del Banco de Venezuela.
from the Bank of Venezuela, and is pending the meeting with the bank because I asked 500,000 of funding to them to get to 1 billion for the funding in a year.
Porque el emprendimiento crea
Because an entrepreneurship creates social economy, and that social economy generates national consumption, greater national production. Because if you're going to set a food truck, that will be entrepreneurship, and the one that produces
su mercancía.
is guaranteed the merchandise. It's a circle
Virtuosa de producción
of production and commercialization and trading and consumption that will lead us to a strong economy that is not dependent from oil, but we're also working on the oil company, and we are in 1 million of
sin ayuda de nadie.
barrels with our own technology without any help. And the gas also, we have the blocks with the warranted inversions, and everything is going to us. And what is the purpose of that? To build houses for the ones who need it. And who is going to build those houses? The demons. Or Gonzalez Urrutia that is not putting his face on. He didn't went to the courtroom. He wasn't in the manifestation. What is hiding?
Imagínense ustedes
You can imagine when the people was out, the people asking for houses, and the dude didn't show up.
hay quienes hubieran votado por él.
Who wouldn't vote for them would realize that when the far right wins, the people lost.
Tenemos que pasar por
Luckily, we don't have to go through that because the people won. The homeland won, the revolution won, democracy, the true democracy won.
ganó el hijo de Chávez,
The son of Chavez won.
ganó el hijo de,
The son of the people won.
ganó el amor,
The love won.
ganó la paz,
The peace.
ganó el presidente cristiano de
The
todos.
Christian president from all of you won.
Así que
So,
mucho trabajo tenemos por delante.
a lot of work we have to ahead of us. Let's continue united, strong.
Yo le tengo que dar las gracias
I have to think,
porque cuando triunfa
because
la paz,
when the peace triumphs,
no solo triunfa para los
not
chavistas,
only triumphs for the Chavistas,
triunfa para
it
todos.
triumphs for all of us.
Cuando hay paz,
When there is
tranquilidad,
peace and
trabajo,
tranquility in work,
cuando hay vencimiento
when there
de
is
dificultades, cuando hay unión nacional,
national
es por el
union,
bien de todos.
is for the good sake of all of us, is for the welfare of all of us.
Así que les doy la gracia
So I'm thinking
a este pueblo
to
bravío
this brave people, to this brave
y
country,
les digo
and I say
compromisos que he
that
hecho,
all the compromises that I've acquired, every single one of them, we will be fulfilling
no le
them.
voy a fallar
And I'm not going to fail to these people, not ever.
a nuestro amado pueblo.
I'm going to fail to our beloved people.
Hoy es 3 de agosto,
Today, August 3rd,
Día de la Bandera Nacional.
the day of the national flag.
Mirandino,
Long live the three colors of our flag.
qué bella se ve.
How beautiful it is.
Y digo con mi canto lo que yo aprendí en mi escuela, bandera de Venezuela porque yo te quiero tanto. Y digo con mi canto lo que yo aprendí en mi escuela, bandera de Venezuela porque yo te quiero tanto. Pam, 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 porque yo te quiero tanto.
Yo aprendí en la escuela, bandera de Venezuela, porque yo te quiero tanto. Y digo con mi canto lo que yo aprendí en la escuela, bandera de Venezuela, porque yo te quiero tanto. Porque yo te quiero tanto. Y digo con mi canto lo que yo aprendí en la escuela, bandera de Venezuela, porque yo te quiero tanto. Y digo con mi canto lo que yo aprendí en la escuela, bandera de Venezuela, porque yo te quiero tanto. Y digo con mi canto lo que yo aprendí en la escuela, bandera de Venezuela, porque yo te quiero tanto. Y digo con mi canto lo que yo aprendí en la escuela, bandera de Venezuela, porque...
Hoy brilló la bandera nacional por todo el país.
I saw the national flag through all the country, and was our commander
Yo
Chavez.
recuerdo como que fuera ahorita.
I remember like yesterday.
2006, estábamos en la
On
fila de
August
coro.
3rd, 2006, we were in Coro at this time, and I was the president of the National Assembly.
Era diputado.
At that time, I was a deputy. I was happy, and I didn't knew that.
Mentira, mentira. yo
No,
soy muy
it's a
feliz.
lie. I'm very happy.
Son chistes malos que
Those
yo
are
hago.
bad jokes that I
Después
do.
Silvia me regaña.
After that, Celia will
Después tú dices eso, Nico.
actually
Ven acá, Silita, por favor.
come here, Celia,
Aquí al lado de la
please.
bandera.
Here next to the flag.
Aplauso a Silita.
An applause for Celita.
Y
And
Cilia
Celia
era... Hoy que
was
3 de agosto. Cilia
on
se había ido al
August 3rd.
Líbano.
Celia was in Lebanon.
¿Saben por qué?
Do you know why?
Una
Because
guerra en el Líbano.
the war in Lebanon started and Israel invaded Lebanon. And the National Assembly, we approved a resolution of solidarity with the people of Lebanon. And they went out in a delegation to Lebanon
De Cire Santos Amaral.
of Cire Santos Amaral.
Iris Varela y Cilia Flores. Llegaron a Damasco, Siria.
And they were in Damascus, Syria. And they went out in Damascus and they were taking the resolution surrendered to the president and the Congress of Lebanon. And when they were back, by the two bridges that they were already
Habían volado
out
la
in
aviación
Beirut,
israelí. Esta señora que
were
está aquí,
bombed by this Israeli strike. This lady that was there, that is here, that day Chavez and I were speaking in Coro because there were
200 años que Francisco de Miranda
200 years of Francisco Miranda, August 3rd of
traído esta bandera
1806, carried this beautiful flag,
diseñada por él.
designed by himself by a first time to the firm land of Venezuela.
Que esta bandera se izó
The first time that this flag went into air was in the ship, the vessel,
que iba saliendo un 12
that
de
was
marzo de
sailing
1906.
of March 12 from Haiti.
Las tropas y las
The
armas
troops and the
las había
weapons
entregado la
were
revolución
given to the
para la
Haitian
revolución
Revolution for the South American Revolution.
y un 3 de agosto
And on August 3rd,
llegaron a la vela de
they
Coro.
were in the Vela de Coro.
En la época no existían redes sociales.
At the time, there were no social network, but the last
Todos de
names
la época
from the time that were turned in
habían viralizado el odio contra
to
Francisco de Miranda.
viralizing the hatred against Francisco de Miranda. The people of Coro closed the doors,
Cerró las puertas y no recibió a Miranda.
and they didn't receive Miranda. And one of the giants of the independence of South America, the one who created the idea of Colombia, the ones who let us this flag enter,
Esta bandera por primera
and he put this flag in the air for the first time in Venezuelan soil, in South American soil, in the firm land.
el comandante Chávez
And
me
the
dijo
commander
cuando
of
me saludó,
Chavez told me when he greeted me, Nicolás,
voy a cambiar
I'm
el
going
día
to
de la bandera,
change the day of the
porque
flag,
el verdadero día de la
because the
bandera fue
the
cuando
real
esta bandera
flag
llegó
day when
con
was
las armas
this
revolucionarias de
flag
Miranda
came with the
y se
revolutionary
hizo
weapons of
en la vela de
Miranda,
Coro.
and to the Vela de Coro. And in his speech, memorable speech of that night, he said, "From this day on, and the years to come and decades to come, the flag day of the tricolor flag of this symbol that carried the freedom of South America will be the August 3rd. So this August 3rd that we're celebrating the flag day was decreed by Commander Chavez in homage to Francisco de Miranda. Such a beautiful history of Venezuela. Let's defend the right and the legacy of the liberator. Let's make peace. Let's make union. And let's conquer the ambush and the criminal violence of the faces. With the justice, we will move forward and to consolidate the peace. Long live the struggles of the Venezuelan people. Long live the victory of the July 28th. Long live to the civil, military, and police union until the victory. Long live the national flag. Long live Venezuela, my dear homeland.
We were listening to President Nicolás Maduro during the massive march held today in defense of peace and in support of his victory on the July 28th elections. During his statements, the president condemned the violence perpetrated by criminals misnamed peaceful protesters who have destroyed hospitals, schools, universities, local stores, and more. This massive march shows the world the reality of Venezuela, which is the opposite of what that shown by far-right transnationals and U.S. social networks, which want to impose a state of terror. They are not seeking an electoral victory, they are seeking guarimbas, the president assured, and remarked that Venezuela will never be a colony again, and it has a constitutional government that will guarantee that, and that will center its efforts in achieving unity, peace, and justice. This is all for the moment. Stay tuned with From the South.